Multi-step story problems with all four operations. Your learning target today is I can solve multi-step story problems with the four operations, and you'll know you're successful when you can solve multi-step story problems that involve addition, subtraction, multiplication, and or division by writing out each step. So today we are going to be doing story problems using all four of the operations. And remember, an operation is whatever sign that we have in our equation. So one of the operations we all know is adding. Another one is subtracting. What are the other two that we've been working on, especially with our other story problems? Multiplication, and then what else? Division. Those are the four operations, and today these four operations are going to be used in our story problems. So this is going to be our first problem, and yes, we are going to have more than one step. I know that sometimes we have two steps, and I will say today we might have more than two steps. That's why these are multi-step story problems, more than one step. Let's read and see what to do with this one. Duncan has 27 action figures to put in storage cases. He put 9 figures in each case. His friend Jeff came over with 2 times as many cases. How many cases did they have altogether? Wow, this problem has a lot going on. So, what did I do last time when we did a multi-step story problem? I broke it down by sentences. So let's look at the first sentence. Duncan has 27 action figures to put in storage cases. Okay, I know 27 is obviously going to be a big part of our problem, but let's read on to the next sentence because I don't know what to do with that 27. He put 9 figures in each case. Okay, that's where we need to stop. 9 figures in each case. So 27 is our total that Duncan has. When I am given the total, do you remember what we should do? We have a 27 and a 9, and we were given the total. That will look like a division problem. If you've been working on reflex math, you might even notice that 27 and 9, there is a division problem that goes with that. And when we're given our total, we know that 27 goes in front. 27 divided by 9. Well, I know that that's 3, because I know 9 times 3 is 27. Those problems are related. So that would be the first part of our problem. So that's how many cases Duncan has, okay? Duncan's amount of cases he has are 3. Let's do the next part of the problem. By doing the next part, I'm going to read the next sentence. His friend Jeff came over with 2 times as many cases. Oh my goodness. Okay. So when we did step 1, we came up with how many cases Duncan has, and we need to use that number for step 2 because that's how many cases he has. And they're telling us in this sentence that Jeff came over with 2 times as many. Okay, and that really is a clue. When I see that 2 times as many, we know that multiplication, when we say it, is times, right? We know that if I see this multiplication symbol, I would say blank times blank. So that's a big hint that we're multiplying. And the number would be 2. So 3 times 2. What is 3 times 2? Oh, I know that's just like adding 3 2 times, and 3 plus 3 is 6. So 3 times 2 is 6. That's how many cases that Jeff has. So that is very helpful. He's got more cases than Duncan. So let's look at the next step because we know we did not read the whole story problem yet. How many cases did they have all together? That's the last part. How many cases did they have all together? And I know that when we used to work with story problems with adding and subtracting a while back, that all together word was really important. Whenever I see the word all together, does anybody remember what that was a hint for? That was a hint that we were going to add. How many cases are there all together, or how many combined? That's the same thing. We're adding. So for step 3, what do you think we'll be adding? These two numbers right here. The 3 cases that Duncan had plus the 6 cases that Jeff had. What is 3 plus 6? That would give us 9. That's how many cases that they have all together. And there is our final answer. So today it took me 3 steps and I used 3 different operations: division, multiplication, and addition. Let's try another one together. All right, so just like I did before, I'm going to read the whole story problem, and then I'm going to look at one sentence at a time to figure out my steps. I know I'll have a step 1, so I'll write my number 1 right there. Mr. Dixon's class and Miss Jones' class went on a field trip to the museum. Mr. Dixon's class has 21 students. Miss Jones's class has 24 students. The students must take the elevator upstairs to see the exhibits. The elevator holds 5 students. How many trips must it take to carry the students upstairs? Okay, there's a lot going on in this problem again. So let's break it down. Let's look at the first sentence. Mr. Dixon's class and Miss Jones's class went on a field trip to the museum. Okay, sometimes story problems like this one has information that we really don't need. It just kind of provides us with that background information. But I'm going to cross that sentence off because that really doesn't matter with this problem. That might be called unnecessary information. I don't really need that sentence other than it tells me they were on a field trip. Okay, let's look at the next sentence. Mr. Dixon's class has 21 students. Okay, we know 21 is very important, so let's just write the number 21. And then Miss Jones's class has 24 students. That was the next sentence, and that's where I'm going to stop. So we have 21 and 24. We know that when we have those numbers that we probably should combine them because we know if we read the rest of the problem, we know that all of these students have to be in the elevator at some time. Not at the same time though, of course. So how many students is that? We would add them together. 21 plus 24. Well, I know 1 plus 4 is 5. And I know 20 plus 20 is 40. So that's 45 students in the 2 classes. Now, let's look at the next part. All right, the next sentence says, the students must take the elevator upstairs to see the exhibits. Okay, again, that's just extra information to tell me, okay, the elevator part is going to be next. I'm going to cross it off because there's no numbers and not really any information I need for our math problem. The elevator holds 5 students. Okay, that's important to know. 5. How many trips must it take to carry the students upstairs? Okay, so what I need to think about this time is that we had 45 students in step 1. And for step 2, I have 5. So we need to break that 45 down. because we know all 45 cannot fit in the elevator at once. We know we're going to have to share students or split them into equal groups so that these groups of students can all get to where they need to go. 45 and 5. 45 is my total number of students, and 5 is the number of students that can be held on the elevator. What do I always have to do when I'm given the total? What operation is that? Dividing. 45 divided by 5 is going to be our next problem. And what is 45 divided by 5? If I think of repeated subtraction, I can subtract 5 until I get to 0. And let's see, so far I'm at 30. 30 minus 5 is 25. 25 minus 5, oops, that is a minus sign, is 20. And then 20 minus 5, I'm running out of room. 15. 15 minus 5 is 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. And 5 minus 5 is 0. Wow. Okay, how many times did we subtract? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 9 is the answer. 45 divided by 5 is 9. Oh, that's right, because 9 times 5 is 45. That makes sense. That's the connection. So how many trips must it take to carry the students upstairs? 9 trips. That is our final answer. And this time we only had 2 steps. Not too bad. Click below to watch part 2 of the video.